I apologize for how dark it is in this video. I've got like 2 sources of light in here. I apologize for the noise in the background. My sister's watching a hockey game. So this video is to tell about something I discovered rather recently. You know how in the United States we have some shows that are good, but not that many? And how the majority of our animated television shows are bloody awful? Well, it appears it's exactly the opposite down in Mexico. And I know that there's someone watching this who's probably dying to make a Trump joke. But you probably thought of one the minute I said Mexico. But this is not about our president. I try to keep my videos as politics-free as possible. So, moving on. So, what I'm about to tell you about is in Mexico they have this little animated series called Villainous. However, it was originally made in America and in English, but the English was replaced with Spanish for the Mexican audiences. And it's the first show that was made by this network exclusively for Mexico, but it is confirmed to have a U.S. release eventually, and later an international release. And if you're going to do an international release, you got to do every language on Earth. Like if you're going to release it in France, you got to release it in French. And if you're going to release it up here in America, where the majority of citizens speak English, you got to do it in English. It's kind of like doing it in England. Anyway, and so what's the show like? Well, it has traditional animation. What is traditional animation? I couldn't tell you. It's not what we get in animation nowadays. Most animated shows nowadays are all made in a computer. They're not really hand-drawn. It's all computers. All computers. This show, however, Villainous, is traditional animation. Hand-drawn. And what else can be said about what's it about? It's about an evil organization known as the Black Cat Organization, which is led by a character called Black Hat, who is this elegant Englishman and a proper gentleman. But of course he has the tendency to lose his temper. And then, of course, there's his right-hand man, his scientist, who's... Yeah, I'm not going to give you all the characters' names. I'm sorry. Actually, no, there's really only 4 characters, so I will give you the names. His scientist, Dr. Flarg. Yes, Flarg, F-L-A-R-G. A scientist who has a tendency to cower in fear at the sight of his boss, and very few of the things he makes ever work, and when they do work, they have a very short power supply. Okay. Then there's the woman of their group, Dementia, who is this hyperactive, incredibly violent woman who destroys things for fun, and has a thing for her boss, Black Hat. And why do they call him Black Hat? Well, because he wears a black hat atop his head. At least I assume that's it. And then there's 505, a failed experiment, who is the least evil of the group. What's he look like? He's a genetically altered bear. Yeah, he's a bear. And so, yeah. And, excuse me. And so why am I telling all of you this? Well, 1, to inform you about a pretty good cartoon show coming up, and 2, I haven't found a lot of it in English. There's really only 5, there's really only 8 shorts of this. It's not even a full series yet. It's just a series of shorts so far. And there's about a total of, I think, 8 of them, and only one of which has received an official English dub. The rest is all made by the fans in English. And then, of course, so what am I telling you all this for? Well, what their organization does is they make devices to sell to other supervillains in a catalog called the Buy It or Else catalog. Yeah, every time they go on, Black Hat will say that this is the Buy It or Else catalog. And he'll go into that real deep demonic voice for the or else part. Like, buy it or else. And of course, if you read the title of this video, you know that it's a challenge. What is the challenge? The challenge is, for anyone who will accept it, you have to make your own little evil organization and broadcast a commercial for something you made in the Buy It or Else catalog. What are the rules? Only 2. First, you gotta sell something that only villains would use. Like, it's exclusively for villains. Second, when you do the Buy It or Else, you have to do the demonic voice. If you have the technology to make your voice sound all demonic-like, and I know there's those of you out there, use it. And finally, have fun. Other than that, that's all. See you next time. Again, I apologize for how dark it was. I'm not getting any light in this room. But again, I think it kind of fits the theme.